This man challenged the woman to a shooting competition for a small wager. At first, the man showcases his true skills by hitting all 6 targets flawlessly, and then mocks the woman, completely unaware that she is a professional shooter. The woman calmly approaches the counter and tells the shop owner she'll take the bet, but only if he raises the stakes to $1, a massive sum that silences the crowd. She asks the owner to run the targets as fast as possible. With stunning speed, she fires 6 shots, hitting all 6 targets again. Actually, this was the time of 1882. Life in the American Wild West was harsh and unforgiving. Food was scarce, diseases spread easily, and only the toughest people managed to survive. In a small Arizona town, a sheep farmer named Albert finds himself in trouble when a cowboy threatens his family over money he claims Albert cost him. The man challenges Albert to a gunfight, but Albert, terrified, tries to talk his way out of it, even making silly hand shadow jokes to distract him. The cowboy loses his patience and shoots Albert in the leg, while Albert's girlfriend Louise looks on with disappointment. Later that day, Albert and Louise share a picnic by the river. Louise tells him she wishes he had been braver, and to Albert's shock, she ends their relationship. Albert insists he loves her, but Louise walks away, leaving him heartbroken. Meanwhile, at the town saloon, Edward waits for his girlfriend Ruth to finish her shift. The saloon manager mocks Edward for dating a woman who entertains other men for money, but Edward ignores him. Ruth soon joins Edward, and they go out together, though she promises the manager she'll return later. That evening, Edward and Ruth visit Albert, who is still devastated over Louise. They try to comfort him, and the 3 head back to the saloon to drink. After several drinks, Albert goes on a rant about how terrible it is to live in the Wild West, where danger lurks everywhere, from hungry animals to reckless drunks, even from people dying over silly accidents. To prove his point, he takes his friends outside and shows them that the mayor has been lying lifeless in the street for 3 days without anyone noticing. As if to drive the point home, 2 wolves appear and drag the mayor's body away. Annoyed with Albert's rambling, a man throws him out of the saloon window. Stumbling drunk, Albert rides his horse back toward Louise's house, but falls along the way. He still manages to get there and begs her to take him back, but Louise firmly refuses. The next day, an old man drives his carriage with his dog Plugger at his side. He's overjoyed to have found gold, but quickly hides it when he notices a group of rough-looking riders approaching. Their leader is Clinch, a notorious outlaw. Clinch demands the gold, but instead of simply stealing it, he orders the old man to draw his gun so they can duel fairly. The old man obeys, but Clinch cheats and fires early, leaving the man no more. Clinch's wife, Anna, scolds him for such cruelty, but he silences her with a harsh grip to her neck. Taking the man's map, Clinch orders his gang to split up and search the land, sending Lewis and Anna into town together. Along the way, Anna decides to keep the dog Plugger with her. Back in town, Edward visits Albert to check on him. They talk about women and relationships, and Albert is surprised to learn that Edward and Ruth haven't been close yet, since they're waiting until marriage because of their faith. Albert and his friends head into town to see the ice being delivered from Boston, a rare event in the desert. To their horror, a large block slips and crushes a man on the spot. While still in shock, Albert notices Louise with her new boyfriend, Foy, whose grand mustache becomes the envy of every man who sees him. Later at church, Albert can't help exchanging sharp looks with Foy. The pastor introduces 2 newcomers, Anna and Lewis, who are pretending to be siblings that have just moved into town. After Mass, Albert visits Foy's mustachery to ask about products that might help him grow some facial hair, but Foy mocks him, reminding Albert that his small farm salary could never afford such luxuries. That night at the saloon, Edward awkwardly asks Ruth to finally grow closer, but she hesitates. He notices she has something left on her face from another client and gently wipes it off with his handkerchief. Albert, meanwhile, tells Edward that he wants to leave town and gifts him his favorite socks. In return, Edward offers him the same handkerchief, which clings to Albert's hand as a token of their friendship. While this happens, Lewis gets into trouble when a cowboy spills his drink. Lewis demands a replacement, but the cowboy mockingly drops his cigar in the glass. Enraged, Louis pulls his gun and fires, instantly sparking a chaotic bar brawl. Albert and Edward pretend to fight to avoid real injury, while Anna calmly sits in a corner, sipping her drink and dodging the madness. When Albert sees two men about to fall on Anna, he rushes over and pushes her outside to safety. Together, they slip away from the chaos and walk through town with Plugger. As they play fetch, Plugger returns, carrying not a stick, but the mayor's leg, forcing the two to laugh in disbelief before heading to a nearby cliff to relax. Albert opens up about his heartbreak with Louise, and Anna assures him that Louise is blind to what a good man he really is. Just then, a snake slithers by, freezing them in place until it passes. Anna then suggests they attend the fair together to make Louise jealous. The following day, Anna visits Louis in jail and scolds him for foolishly shooting the pastor's son. She admits she'll only be happy when Clinch is gone, and she leaves without bailing Louis out. Later, she joins Albert at the fair, where a photographer's camera suddenly explodes, setting him and his clients on fire, forcing two men to put the victims out of their misery. Amid the chaos, Louise and Foy appear, so Anna pretends to be Albert's girlfriend. To keep up appearances, Anna points out a shooting game, and Foy tricks Albert into betting he can't hit the moving targets. Foy easily lands all 6 shots, but when Albert tries, he misses them all. Before Albert can pay up, Anna intervenes, raising the stakes. She tells the operator to set the targets at maximum speed, then grabs 2 pistols and flawlessly hits every single one in seconds. The crowd is left in awe as Foy, humiliated, has to hand over a whole $1, an amount of money most people there had never even seen. Furious at being shown up, Foy continues to mock Albert, who finally snaps and challenges him to a duel the very next day. Foy accepts Albert's challenge, but once he leaves, Albert panics and regrets the reckless decision. Seeing his distress, Anna offers to teach him how to shoot, and on their way out of town, they witness a bull charging into a stand and knocking down its owner, leaving everyone shocked. Out in the open fields, Albert begins his training, but he proves to be a terrible shot, missing even at close range. Still, Anna remains endlessly patient, trying different tricks and methods until Albert slowly improves. And when they draw a figure on a door, Albert lands his shot, though he nearly injures his own father in the process. Once training ends, Anna rewards him with a special cookie, and together they watch the sunset, laughing nervously as even small noises from animals startle them. Back in town, the sheriff brings food to Louis in his cell, but Louis pretends to be asleep and then ambushes him, slamming the sheriff's head against the bars until he is no more. That evening, Albert takes Anna to the barn dance, where she shows up in a beautiful dress that catches everyone's eye. Foy and Louise are also there, and Foy once again tries to humiliate Albert by making the band play a song celebrating mustaches. Albert, being the only man without one, is mocked and kicked off the dance floor. Anna isn't happy about it and quickly hatches a plan. She steals a bottle of whiskey from the bartender, slips a laxative into a glass, and then challenges Foy to a drinking contest. She purposely loses, tricking Foy into downing her little trap. Later that night, Albert and Anna leave the party and return to the farm to share drinks and conversation. They bond over their shared dislike for the hardships of the Wild West, and Albert even uses one of his sheep to deliver Anna a photograph of a man smiling, something rare and almost impossible in those days. Touched by the gesture, Anna thanks him with a kiss on the cheek, which soon grows into a real kiss. Feeling flustered, Albert walks her back to her hotel, but they end up kissing again, this time spotted by Louis, who quietly takes note. On his way home, Albert notices a strange glow coming from a barn. Inside, he finds none other than Doc Brown from Back to the Future, working on the DeLorean. The eccentric doctor explains it's just a weather experiment, and Albert naively believes him. Meanwhile, at Foy's home, Louise begs him not to hurt Albert, but Foy refuses. As they grow close again, Louise plays with his mustache affectionately, only for Foy to suddenly feel sick and rush to the bathroom thanks to Anna's trick. The next morning, Anna hears a knock on her door and opens it, only to find Clinch standing there. Later in town square, Albert grows worried when Anna doesn't show up. Foy eventually arrives, but he's weak, pale, and barely able to stand. needing to relieve himself in stolen hats before he can even prepare for the duel. When the moment comes, Albert simply drops his belt and gun, telling Foy he can keep Louise because he's moved on. He wishes Louise good luck in her new life and walks away to look for Anna, only to find her room empty. Confused and heartbroken, Albert goes to the saloon to vent to his friends. Suddenly, Clinch storms in with his gang, dragging Anna along. He announces that someone has been seen kissing his wife, and Albert's heart sinks as he realizes the truth. To prove his ruthlessness, Clinch shoots a random cowboy with a well-known face, sending a chill through the room. Before leaving, he warns that unless the man who kissed Anna faces him tomorrow at noon, more people in town will pay the price. Clinch drags Anna out of town, furious that she kissed another man. He threatens her and even says he'll hurt Plugger unless she gives him a name, so Anna finally admits it was Albert. Clinch forcefully kisses her and grows aggressive, but Anna seizes the moment, picking up a rock and striking him on the head before escaping. As one last act of defiance, she tucks a flower into his belt and rides off on his horse. She makes it to the farm, where Albert is packing up to flee before Clinch can find him. He's angry at Anna for hiding the truth, but in his frustration, he blurts out that he loves her. Anna explains she was forced into marriage with Clinch as a child and has been trapped with him ever since. With tears in her eyes, she confesses she loves Albert too. Their moment is cut short when they spot Clinch's men approaching. Before leaving, Anna whispers an important detail. Clinch always shoots on the count of 2. Soon after, the gang arrives at the farm, searching for Albert as he hides among his sheep, enduring a rather unfortunate accident when one relieves itself on him. Using the distraction, Albert sneaks to his horse and takes off. A chase begins, with bullets flying as Clinch struggles to land a shot. Albert rides hard toward the train tracks, barely making it across before the train blocks Clinch and his men. Albert leaps onto the train and manages to escape, later dismounting to let his horse rest, only to be ambushed and knocked out cold. Back in town, Edward and Ruth finally decide to take their relationship to the next level. Edward panics when things get serious, but just as they begin, Anna bursts in. She's on the run from Lewis, who storms in moments later, only to find she's already slipped out the window. Unfortunately, Anna runs right into Clinch, who blocks her path. Meanwhile, Albert wakes up tied to a pole, surrounded by an Apache tribe preparing to burn him alive. To their surprise, Albert speaks their language, having studied it in his spare time. Intrigued, the Apaches release him and invite him to sit by the fire, offering him a powerful drink. Albert drinks too much and falls into a wild hallucination. He relives bizarre moments of his life, his father refusing to hold him at birth, the tooth fairy leaving him horse droppings, a fake Abraham Lincoln giving a dreadful graduation speech, and his failed attempt to impress Louise with a bicycle that ended in chaos. His visions grow stranger. A crowd of dwarf cowboys chase him. Sheep with Foy's voice sing a mustache song while dancing, and a snake-shaped door handle snaps at him. Finally, he manages to open the mysterious door, where he finds Anna waiting for him in a wedding dress, glowing like a vision of the life he longs for. As Albert steps through the strange door in his vision, a massive condor soars across the sky, with Clinch's face snarling from its beak. Albert raises his gun, but misses his shot, so instead, kicking the beast and finally bringing it down. In that moment, Albert snaps out of his hallucination and realizes the lesson hidden within it. He isn't a coward anymore. With gratitude in his heart, he thanks the Indians for their wisdom and sets off to face his destiny. By noon, the entire town gathers in the square. 6 minutes before the clock strikes, Albert arrives to find Clinch waiting, holding Anna hostage. Clinch shoves her toward his men, making it clear this will be a fight to the death. The countdown begins. Remembering Anna's warning, Albert doesn't wait. He fires on one, hitting Clinch in the arm, but Clinch still manages to shoot, disarming Albert. With nothing left, Albert steadies himself and begins chanting a solemn song, claiming it's a family tradition before death. Clinch laughs until suddenly his body trembles and he collapses to the ground. Albert reveals that during his time with the Apache, he learned to extract snake venom and coat his bullet with it. Clinch never even hears the explanation. His reign of terror ends right there. Anna breaks free, knocking out the men holding her, and runs straight into Albert's arms. The two share a triumphant kiss, their fear and pain melting into joy. Just then, Louise approaches, hoping to reclaim Albert, but he gently turns her away. His heart belongs to Anna now, and for the first time, he knows exactly what he wants. Together, Albert and Anna walk into their new life, hand in hand. The cowardly farmer, who once feared the world, has finally found courage, love, and a reason to keep fighting. If you're still here, I truly hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please leave a like and a subscribe to join the community. And if you have a few extra minutes, you can watch more amazing movie stories by clicking on the videos on your screen. Thanks.